WW7ZYM, KD7ZYM, K7ITX.
K7ITX, K7ITX, this is KD7ZYM.
Unfortunately, my computer crashed last night, so with that, my ability to start our normal video programming is not available right now, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention that I won't be able to bring up Zoom tonight. So if you could just share that with everybody in your preamble, I'd appreciate it. K7ITX.
ITX, I guess that brings it to the notice that you need 10 lashes with a wet noodle because of this.
You know, it's a laptop, bought it in 2016, and so and I've used it non-stop, every day since then for, hours and hours and hours and travel, and so eventually laptops especially wear out. So give me the lashes with the wet noodle. That'll be fine. So anyway, if I can get it up and running on a different machine, I'll let you guys know. But in the meantime, I'm dead in the water. K7ITX.
I dread that dead in the water, but I think you're doing everything you can in your power to see what you can do. Take care and enjoy. KD7ZYM clear.
N7CS.
KD7ZYM, this is N7CS, checking if you can hear me.
N7CS, N7CS, this is KD7ZYM.
Hey Dave, heard you back that time. Yeah, I am in Juneau, Alaska, and I have dinner reservations coming up, so I probably will only be able to do one round on the net tonight, so just kind of giving you a heads up on that, this N7CS.
Problem, the Zoom link is down today for some reason. computer didn't want to operate too well. So anyway, that's information for you.
Okay, yeah, thanks for letting me know that. I heard Richard's mention about that just a minute ago. Okay, thanks, and 7 yes.
This is James WW7N. Got a black screen on 1.2 gigahertz on the digital input too tonight.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. This is Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater. Spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll find the frequencies we transmit on and also a link to YouTube where we stream our nets held on Saturdays and Wednesdays. This evening our video link is down for our own net. So pass that on, and if anybody needs to make a contact, emergency contact, this is time to do so, or make a contact with anybody on the 08 machine. I'll pause. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing done at this point. It looks like it'll be pretty much the 2-meter net. Let's go with, so far checked in is Ron, KD7QKU, Bert, N7CS, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else wishing to check into the net?
Me, James, WU7N, I had to drop out.
WU7N, you said you're going to drop out of the net tonight?
I just couldn't hear you. I said I had an audio drop out, so I didn't hear if you said my call or not. I'm sorry.
You did. WU7N, you're in. Well, let's start the net off now. Let's go and start with Ron, KD7QKU.
This is KD7QKU. So James, if you would switch me in on ATV, I'll transmit the whatever picture I got here. Can't see anything, but I'm transmitting. So here we are. I'm over in Bellevue, KD7QKU. It's another beautiful day, really pretty day. I think it was a little bit warm today. It was 85 in my front yard, and it was most of the day was 80 out on the patio. We have a covered patio northeast corner of the house, so it's the the shady part. There was a little breeze out of the north, so it was really comfortable out there. So let's see, a couple of days ago we started planting some flowers along the sidewalk and in the front planter box, and a couple other places got that all done. And then on Friday morning at 8:45, Joanne had been to a dermatologist, and they found a spot on her lower right leg below the knee on the outside, and so they did a test on it and said it needed to have some surgery. So she went to I forget the name of the surgery, type of surgery, like MOH or MHO or something. Anyway, she was in there for about an hour, and they made about a, I don't know, 4-inch long slit in the side of her leg and taken out a bunch of flesh and put about 12 stitches in, and so she's sitting in the other room with her leg up in the air. She's using the walker. She's not supposed to put much weight on it or do anything for about a week, keep it elevated. So far it looks really good. She's not in a lot of pain, and it's not swollen or anything. It drained a little bit yesterday, but that was the day of the surgery. That was to be expected. So anyway, that's what's going on over here. And Richard, if you can hear me, I'm wondering about your mother-in-law and her hearing aids. So back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's try N7CS if he's with us.
Okay, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Since we don't have our Zoom today, I can't confirm that or not. Hopefully the internet's good enough. But I am currently in Juneau, Alaska. It's around 7:05 p.m. here on the Norwegian Spirit cruise ship that left from Vancouver on Wednesday. One funny thing is the Carnival Luminosa, which was that ship that I took from Australia to Seattle, it also pulled up in port in Juneau today. So that was fun seeing the ship I was on last week. Yesterday I was at Icy Strait Point, Alaska. Tomorrow we're heading to Skagway, Alaska, and eventually the ship I'm on now heads up to Seward, where it will turn around and then head back to Vancouver. We have 1,300 people on board now, and then for the turnaround in Seward, it sounds like we're only going to have about 900 people coming back with us. Let's see, Wednesday morning I took the Amtrak from Everett to Vancouver. That was very convenient, about a 3-hour ride, and then a quick 10-minute transfer on the light rail to make it to right to the cruise terminal. I am going to have to give my 73 now, as I have a dinner reservation coming up in a couple of minutes. So apologies in advance. When I disconnect, it might step on somebody the way Echolink usually does. But anyway, this is Bert and Juneau on Echolink over Sound Life. So this is N7CS with my 73.
K7CS, we have your 73s. Thanks for checking in for the net. Well, let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Kent.
You guys, I'm not paying real close attention right at the moment. I'm monkeying around with a different computer to try to bring up our video program. My regular computer crashed and it's toast, so I've got a lot of work to do ahead of me. I do have a new computer I bought, but it's not even out of the box yet. I was just trying to bring up our video program on Debbie's desktop. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull it off, but I can't hear you guys. It's in a different room, other than I could hear you call my name. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. K7ITX, back to net control.
7QO, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Jim, I heard you talking something about the black screen on the 1.2. I didn't concern myself about looking at my down converter stuff between our last net and now, because I was expecting to be on a computer tonight, but I understand that that's not happening tonight. So I'm looking at the 1.2 gigahertz downlink, and I'm seeing intermittently the inside of the repeater room. It's just I need to go take a look at my my 1.2 gigahertz setup. It's something has changed recently, so I'll take a look at that. But I don't know. Hopefully by the next net. Doesn't mean I'll have it fixed, but but I'll look at it, I hope. Yeah, nice day here today. I have 82 degrees now. My wife said she saw 90 degrees this afternoon. Didn't do any outside work today. Just did some work around the house and spent a little time just my wife and I sitting there watching a little something on the television. I guess back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, let's go to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. WU7N here. Yeah, I just went ahead, the 1.2 gigahertz on Cougar, so I think working fine, but I just went ahead and put it up on the repeater room instead of just having the black screen from the digital side, and I switched it over when Ron asked. Well, Ron, I'm sorry to hear about Joanne, but I guess it's good to catch it, and I hope she heals quickly with her leg in the air. I noticed, I think you just did a slip of the lip. You said you were in Bellevue tonight. I think you're in Tacoma tonight, but maybe that was just a slip. Anyway, it was very hot. I was over in Seattle meeting with the First Family group, 2 people coming as far away from Northern California, and another 2 people coming from as far away as Edmond, so it was really quite a drive for some people. For me, it was only about a 30-40 minute drive to get over there. But wow, a lot of food, a lot of catching up since we haven't done this in years, and it was definitely hot out. I'm glad the sun moved a little bit, so we got some shade where we were at because we were outdoors. So it was definitely toasty warm, and it still is. Outside my sliding glass door with my antenna out on the deck, it's warmer out in the greenbelt than it is inside of this section of the house. So it's still pretty toasty out there. Bird is probably gone to his dinner engagement, but I must say that was really good audio coming in over Echolink, especially considering he's coming in over satellite And then I'm wondering if Rich or someone did some work with the repeater, because man, that sounded really good. So anyway, well, that's it for here for me, James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Go ahead, Dave.
CS disconnected.
WUCN, thanks for that. And this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City, and I need to get in an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine, so that's out of the way. Well, let's see, here in Lake City I got 77 degrees and it's clear. And oh man, what a beautiful sunshiny day. I got out, run some errands today, and soaked up some sunshine with that. Then did some R&R this afternoon, watched a movie, and then spent some time out in the yard, so that was pretty good. Well, the only thing I've got to add is I contribute to those unusual medical bills that you get into the mail. Recently I had a colonoscopy, and then I got a letter in the mail that had 3 pages of readout of medical language of all the procedures that they did, dollar for dollar what they did, and then they showed what the insurance would cover. I'm with medical insurance, and it was kind of interesting. It was sort of a surprise that I got the 3 pages in the mail and then a return envelope with the amount from Kaiser Permanente of what I owed for the procedure, and I was rather shocked. It was 57 cents. 57 cents. It cost them more than that to send the 3 pages of paperwork and the bill and put a stamp on the envelope. I just thought that was hilarious, but I guess that's how they're keeping their costs down, being able to be so accurate with that. So that's the funny thing that I have to add for today. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
7QKU here, and I am in Tacoma. Would you switch me in again, James? I'll transmit for what it's worth. I was hoping Wade would be here tonight. We could see his picture. I can see myself coming back. I look, is this black and white? But I can see my image in there. Okay, so it sounds like Bert's having a pretty nice trip. He had a reservation for dinner. I wonder if he's having something special. Too bad about Richard's computer. I know he has email stored on there, I think for his whole lifetime. Jim N7QO, he's having, I guess, trouble with his down converter. That's too bad. He can't see my crummy picture. Well, it's a little better at times, but no color or anything. Let's see. It sounds like James had a pretty good gathering this afternoon. I'm glad that he was outside, not me. It was 85 degrees here that I saw. Like I say, I was on the patio and there was a little breeze from the north. It was really quite comfortable. Joanne was out there for a while. She was doing a lot of reading. I was watching the baseball game. We have TV out there. So let's see. We have, 2 air conditioners. I have one in-the-wall air conditioner in the living room, and then I have one portable that's in the window here in the bedroom. And between the 2 of them, I can bring the house right down to really comfortable. Dave had his 57 cents that he owed. That's pretty amazing. But I guess they have to balance their books. So I had kind of a neat experience today. Joanne, is down and can't go grocery shopping. So I had no idea that they were going to make such a big incision on her leg, and that they were going to have. I just figured it would be, inch long, and she'd be able to walk around and everything, but they don't. It's like 12 stitches. It's at least 4 inches long, maybe longer. And there's an indentation, so they've taken out quite a bit of flesh. So anyway, I went to Winco to the grocery store, and before I left, Joanne handed me the debit card, and I stuck it in my pocket, and I go to Winco, and I filled the card, and come up to the stand, and they check it all out, and I stick my card in, and it asked me for a VIN number, or, a number. I had no idea what it was. Joanna failed to share that with me. She may have shared it with me. We've had this card forever, but we never used it. She's the only one that's been using it since we started buying at Winco. So I told the guy I might have enough money. So I pulled out my billfold and I started counting it out, and lo and behold, I had enough money, just barely. So I was able to buy my groceries with cash, Dave. And then I had to replenish it. So that was my big exciting moment. No VIN number or whatever it is for the card. That was a bit of a surprise. All right, back to Net. It's good to hear from everybody this evening, and I don't know if anybody else can see my picture, but I can see it. All right, KD7QKU, back to Net.
QKU, yes, your picture's coming through and looking fine. I did get a text just momentary ago from a lady in Port Angeles, and he said Echo Link is down, and because the video link is down for him on the internet, he checked out for the evening with a 73. So that's a status on Lee. So let's go to Richard, K7ITX. One more time for K7ITX.
I think you were calling me.
Out there somewhere, we're calling you. Are you there?
I am here, and I think I heard from the other room, Ron might have been asking about my mother-in-law and her hearing aid situation. So right now, she did get a referral to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and I believe it's the end of, I want to say May 24th or May 25th or something like that. And one of my, Debbie's mom has a friend at where she lives at Solstice who's going to take her to this doctor appointment, which is fine with us. So anyway, well, as it goes, I'll get her ears and the wax cleaned out, and then at some point Debbie will make another appointment to go to Costco, and they'll do a hearing test and see how that goes. But KD7ZYM Dave and his story or description of how he treats his ear canal with peroxide, that was all very, very interesting, particularly the time it takes, and we're reasonably sure that this is something, I'll be kind and just say that she probably doesn't know how to do what Dave described. I could have said something not as nice, but that's how it goes. So anyway, great to hear you guys. Obviously, I gotta get used to Windows 11 for crying out loud. I is now looking forward to the next couple days, except tomorrow's Mother's Day, and my daughter and son are gonna come over for a holiday meal, so that I'll look forward to that. That'll be fun. Okay, well, I gave up on trying to do anything in the other room. So I'll just hang around for a while and see what's going on. I heard Bert's up in Juneau and had to get away to his dinner reservation. That's pretty important in my book. K7ITX, back to net control.
7ITX, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Dick, yeah, good luck with your ears. That, I don't know, probably prudent to do it with some sort of medical professional. She might feel better about it anyway. I don't know. And Ron, man, 12 stitches and at least a 4-inch long incision. Holy cow. We'll hope that Joanne recovers from that soon. It sounds like you were not expecting it to be anywhere near this complicated. Sorry about that. And Ron, I see your picture. It's just intermittent. When I first fired this thing up tonight, 25 minutes ago or so, I had a picture about 50% of the time, and now it's like it's on for maybe 10 seconds and then it's gone for a minute or something like that. Right now I've got nothing on my display. So I saw you. I didn't have quite enough resolution to make out who you were, except for the fact that I knew who you were and you were transmitting, so I saw that. I do not have color on you, but when the interior of the repeater comes on, it looks a little brighter. It's probably just a stronger signal there. Let's see. Bert, yeah, dinner reservation. Have fun. Hope you have something good for dinner. And Juneau's a good place for an amateur radio operator. My wife had a temporary duty assignment in Juneau for a couple of years, and 3 years? I don't know. Anyway, she was there for a while. It was really pretty nice. They have a ham radio club, they have a gun club, and Civil Air Patrol has an active squadron that's there. My wife and I actually would have thought about moving there, except for the fact that we had to worry about taking care of parents down here in the lower 48, and it's just too many airplane flights to get to be where our parents were, and then eventually we wound up moving some of the family over here with us. Yeah, I could believe that they're maintaining the Echo link up there pretty well, and he might have a couple of kindred souls up there if he got onto a local repeater. I'm not sure if he even has an HT with him, but on the other hand, he might not have enough time to do all of that. So back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, and get another ID in here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
Hey, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue here. Well, first off, I hope that you take 2 quarters, nickel, and 2 pennies and tape it to a copy of your bill there, and go ahead and spend an additional 60 cents just to mail it back into Kaiser Permanente. I just kind of imagine in my mind how they'll have to deal with your coinage there that comes in. Sure, yeah, welcome to the world of Windows 11, whether you want to be here or not. I'm finding increasingly, I have an old Windows machine, 7 machines I've been keeping going just to kind of see how long it would go. And it's a really old piece of hardware too. I hear the fans crank up and wind down, and you can really hear the hard drive working hard and everything. So I'm just I boot it every day just to see if it'll still hang in there. But there's really not much support there left. So yeah, my other machines I use are all Windows 11. And everybody, don't forget, tomorrow is Mother's Day. We kind of celebrated that since there were a couple mothers in the family herd today, and so as the cards were passed around. Also, I had a brother-in-law that is retiring, and so he got lots of cards for happy retirement. So that was part of the festivities there. Great pizza, great salad, and one of my relatives, the man who married my niece, is really quite a chef, and he cooked up a strawberry cake, kind of a tort, that was just absolutely wonderful. Well, anyway, I guess we're in for a couple more days of hot weather here. I noticed this afternoon the wind had really kicked up. There was really quite a breeze blowing here off in the Lakes of Amish Basin this afternoon, and so I guess we're having a front pass through or something's going on, because that wind was certainly would have made it sporty to land a light aircraft. Well, anyway, I see it's about half an hour after the hour. This is James, WW7ATS. Let me turn it back to our net control, Dave.
W7N, thanks for that. Well, wish Joanne well with her leg surgery, and that heals up rapidly. And for earwax removal, the interesting thing is you can go to YouTube, and they have all kinds of ways besides the peroxide drops in the ear, and then using an ear syringe with the hot water to ease out those particles of wax. But I think the strangest thing I looked when I was looking for that was somebody came up with this: make a paper cone about 4 inches long, and then you light it stick it in your ear, the pointy part, and then you light the outside edge with a cigarette lighter and let that burn for a couple of seconds, and that's supposed to create a vacuum that sucks out the wax. Although I've never tried that, I just thought that was a way to get yourself into real trouble. This is Dave, KD7CYM. And with that, I'm going to bring it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
The microphone turned over to the right side. KD7QKU. Well, James, you want to flip me in again? And I'll maybe Jim N7QO can see my crummy picture. So, yeah, that sounds to me like a good way to set your hair on fire or something. It's kind of funny because I think Bird came in on Echolink. He sounded fantastic, and Lee couldn't get in. That's strange. But anyway, I wonder. So let's see. I see up there in a room there's somebody brought up the new desk chair. Maybe it would help if I turn my transmitter on. So somebody brought in a new desk chair. It looks like it has arms and stuff on it. Mother's Day, yeah. We were invited out to Mike's on the Key Peninsula. He was having the family out there, and I suppose going to have hamburgers and stuff. But of course, Joanne didn't feel like going for sure on Friday afternoon, so we kind of begged off on that. I think really she probably would feel good enough. She could go. She could sit in the back seat and put her legs out straight on the seat, and then find some place to put her leg up when she was there. But it's hot and it's dirty out there and everything, so I think we're better off just staying home this time. We wanted to heal up on, so they had some little clear salve they wanted to put over the stitches and everything. So far it looks really good. She's not in any pain. They gave her pain prescription, but she hasn't taken any. She says it doesn't hurt. So she's tougher than I am, I guess. So let's see what else is going on. Well, I said we planted flowers. Got the sprinkler system up and running. You can put it in test mode and it'll run each section for 2 minutes, and it pushes the sprinklers up through the grass, and then when it shuts off I can run out and cut them out with a knife so that the poor little sprinklers, they get covered up in the wintertime with the grass. It's amazing. Some of them around the edges near the flower beds where there isn't grass, and you can see them, but the majority of them are in the grass. So anyway, got those all. A few of them I had to redirect a little bit. So that's a wet job. You just have to go over them when they're running and twist a little bit. I don't know. It's a, what is it? I want to say Rainbird. It's a really nice sprinkler system. It has an outside sensor so that if it rains, it'll shut off, and it won't turn on that day. So in the summertime, I have it set on to come on every other day. I think real early in the morning. I think for about 10 minutes in each section. So I think there's four different sections. But I sure like it. I don't know. I hate to have to start running it now, but I've been running it last couple of days to water the flowers, all the new flowers that we planted in the flower bed, and kind of protect them from the hot sun, because most of them are on the south side, and the sun is just, really pouring, coming down on them. So what else do I have here? That's about it. Sorry Lee couldn't join us tonight. He's always interesting. So I guess with that, I'll just turn it back and see what's going on with everybody else. KD7QKU, back to Dave.
7QKU, and it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Kent to Richard, K7ITX.
N disconnected.
Okay, well, that must have been Bert saying goodbye. Anyway, yeah, what a bummer for Joanne on Mother's Day, geez. But, well, I know how these health things crop up, so you gotta take care of them when you can. Let's see, I covered 3 miles today. Believe it or not, I walked 3 miles. And a big part of that was walking from my car at Costco's parking lot inside and looking at the laptops, and then took a picture of the one I wanted to get, then walked over and I had to get a $1.50 hot dog. That's crazy if you don't, or at least in my mind, I'd be crazy if I didn't. So, and then of course went through checkout. They gave me the box, and I walked back to my car. And then I thought, well, I'll surprise Debbie. She wasn't home, and since we have people coming over tomorrow, I would mow the grass. Oh, but I forgot to tell you what I did earlier in the morning, though. I went to the dump, the transfer station. The day before, I got a Sawzall from where Debbie and I work, and we just bought a new sofa. I think I told you that story. Well, anyway, the old one's out in the garage, and it's really heavy. It's not anything I felt like we could just pick up and put in the back of the truck. I went on YouTube, and how do you dismantle a sofa? I figured if I could dismantle it, I can handle the weight. Well, yeah, they said cut away the fabric, blah, blah, blah. So, I did that, and was looking at the joinery, and and Debbie had mentioned that my brother-in-law, when he wants to take stuff to the dump that's too big, he just takes a Sawzall and chops it all up into smaller pieces. And I thought, well, God, why don't we do the same thing? I called Scott, the owner of the company where we work, and he said, oh, yeah, we got one. I said, oh, okay, great. Why don't we go out to lunch? I'll take you up to Billy McHale's in Federal Way. I get up to the office, and so everybody, Scott and one of the other project managers got in the truck, and then we got to get an order from his wife. What does she want us to bring back? So anyway, I had a great Reuben sandwich, and we bought an onion loaf for an appetizer. Heck, he picked up the tab. I got the Sawzall, went home, chopped up the sofa. It wasn't real easy, but I'm telling you, the Sawzall is the only way to go when you're trying to decommission an old sofa. I'll never forget that. And so, bit of my 3 miles is not a lot, getting the load secured on the truck and then dumping it. I think cutting the grass, I think that's about, believe it or not, that's about 1.5 miles, or at least a mile. The other 2 miles, sheesh, I don't know. I don't think I was a mile away from. I'll have to admit, I was a long way. I was probably a good quarter of a mile from where I parked to where the laptops are. Could have been a half a mile. You guys know how that parking lot is. And then of course the way I walk it was a long, drawn out procedure. But anyway, I think that's enough for me. I'm very tired, actually. K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Dick, yeah, I could appreciate that wore you out. Man, 3 miles of walking, that's kind of pushing it, I would say. If you feel you need to do some more, they do have a couple of powered carts there that you can drive around through the store. Just food for thought. And yeah, cut things into smaller pieces so they're easier to take to the dump, so you can fit them in your vehicle or whatever. Yeah, Sawzall, definitely a handy piece of equipment. Particularly, my neighbor has a battery-powered one, and that seems to work pretty well, surprisingly well. Ron, on your last transmission, I did not see any of your video. My 1.2 was not displaying anything. I had a couple of flashes between then and now, but I did not see you anyway. But I did the first time that you were transmitting, so at least for a little bit. Jim, family reunion. That's great. It's always helpful when at least a number of family members are in the same area. So with most of them being in the Pacific Northwest area, it's got to help things out quite a bit. Yeah, most people I know stay pretty close to home after they grow up and go to work. I don't know why it doesn't work. I don't know how so many people manage to work so close to home, because I've had to live in like 5 different states basically for my work, and it worked out okay. I don't know, I was going to say something to the effect that now I might like to move to a warmer climate, but after today, maybe not. I don't know. We also don't seem to have to deal with a whole lot of tornadoes up here. not a whole lot of flooding where I am. Do have some minor problems with fires, but oh well. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
7QO, let's go to WU7N.
Dave, well, hat tip to Richard tonight. I mean, 3 miles and a sofa chop up. That sounds like a lot of activity. You must be healing up quite nicely. So congrats on that one. Jim, I guess I was talking to a neighbor of mine, and he was telling me how that so many people were working from home for the past 3 years, and then now it's some of them early on in the pandemic moved out to the boondocks where it was cheaper, and they still could work from home. And so now a lot of organizations are asking those people to come back, and it's, I guess, creating quite a bit of friction, even in my own city here. And my own city, I guess, has a rule that if you have a job here in the city of Bellevue, last I heard, you must work somewhere, or you must live somewhere in the state of Washington. So I'm not quite sure how they're enforcing that, but apparently we're not the only city having the problem. I saw a great satire that showed somebody that was allegedly working nearby, and suddenly they have a malfunction with their fake background on their video screen, and there's suddenly a horse sticking its head in the kitchen window and eating her cereal, and there's a Montana background behind the horse, so it's kind of humorous. Oh, I just have to comment on the funnel in the ear. Yeah, that definitely sounds like an internet lore. I'm not quite sure how the physics of that would work, but I guess if you had the funnel in the ear, you might as well pour something flammable down your ear. Or maybe you're not supposed to pour something flammable, maybe just something to melt the wax, but I'm not quite sure how lighting on a fire would help. But I guess there's plenty of wives' tales out there for all sorts of odd things to do. Well, I may need to check out a little bit early. I'll try and hang in here for one more round. I see we're about 15 minutes to the top of the hour. But this is James, Whiskey Uniform 7 November in Northeast Bellevue. Now, I believe I'm the one that has easiest access to the video transmitter, so if I do need to leave, I'll go ahead and turn it down unless someone else can take responsibility for that tonight. This is WU7N. Back to you, Dave.
7N, thanks for that. This is KD7CYM. Well, getting back to my Kaiser bill for 57 cents, I thought that was kind of nice, but what also, the form letter was very forgiving. If they said if I can't afford a payment at this time, that they gave an 800 number that I could call their finance department, and then we could have an assistant payment deal. I thought that was kind of strange, but to my betterment, I did write a check for 57 cents. That took some looking up to figure out how to write that one, but I got that and it's in the mail. So, as I can say, it's in the mail and taken care of. This is Dave, KD7CYM. And let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
You want to switch me in again, James? I'll transmit one more time if you're still there. And if you leave, of course, you can turn everything off, because I can't. And Wade's not here tonight, Bert's not here tonight, so I guess you're the only one. So, let's see. Richard, my goodness, you did have a big day. You went to Costco, you walked in and out. Usually when I go to Costco, it was with Dave, and I think I always got a piece of pizza. Man, they were pretty good. Cheap, too. And then you went to, I think you said McHale's or somebody, and had lunch. That made me kind of drool. That would be fun. So anyway, you had a good day. And then you used a reciprocating saw to cut things up. So that's what I do all the time. Sometimes I just cut them up in small pieces and stuff them in the garbage can and let the garbage man take them and take a few at a time till eventually it's all gone. That works out pretty good too. Today we had a little company, Joanne's sister and brother-in-law, and then a her niece Lisa came over, and they brought some flowers, and they visited for a few minutes. We could go over there too for Mother's Day, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to go anyplace. I think Mike's going to come in the morning and pay his respects to Joanne, and that will be nice. I don't know if Stephanie's coming or not. He didn't say, but he said he'd be here about 11, so we'll see. At least see him in the morning. My other daughter-in-law, Sherry and Ron, Sherry, they're back in the, over at the plane, and Sherry, had the one lung removed, and now she has the tumors back in the other lung, and she goes in Monday for a biopsy. I think Ron said that they start the biopsy at noon, and of course they won't have the results back on that. But man, I don't know. One lung already removed, and now she's got it back in the other lung. So anyway, after they do the biopsy and everything, they'll try to figure out a course of treatment. She'd been on this Katrina or something like that, and it worked quite well for a while, but I guess it kind of stopped. So they thought she's had 2 surgeries. They thought they got it all. So they'd taken out the lung, and then they went back second time, a year later or something, taken out some remains of something that was in there. They were afraid that it was going to have cancer again. Well, they were right, I guess. Okay, with that sad note, I'll turn it back. I don't know when they're here if they'll have time to come by or not. They usually seem to be in a rush to get home, so I don't know. But anyway, it would be nice to see them. We haven't seen them since they were here last fall when they went down to Portside. So I think it's been kind of hot. Ron has a boat, and he's been fishing Fish Lake. I don't know if you guys know where Fish Lake is. It's close to where he lives. He's been sending me pictures, making me drool. All right, I don't know what time it is. I guess, look at the clock. Well, we've got a few minutes left. So I guess I'll say 73 in case it doesn't come back. So 73 is everybody, and we'll talk to you Wednesday. Maybe then everything will be working. KD7QKU, KD7ZYM.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Kent.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for all your nice comments. But since Sunday, and this is Saturday, so every day since Sunday, each day I've walked more than a mile, and I think there's a couple, 2 or 3 days where I walked 2 miles. And then, of course, today was the spectacular 3 miles. But this is all, I can't be riding around in a cart or anything like that. And I will say this, I am constantly monitoring they call it your SAT, my SAT, my blood oxygen saturation in my blood. Constantly looking at, I have a pulse oximeter that fits on your finger, and the reason why I do that is I have to have my saturation in the 90s at all times as much as possible. If it dips into the 80s, then that's when I have to do a couple things. Either stop and rest and quit moving, or do some, it's called pursed lip breathing, and basically what you do there is you inhale, but then when you exhale, your lips are pursed so that the air you create, what you're trying to do is create back pressure. You want back pressure so that the air stays in your lungs longer, as opposed to just coming out in a normal exhale. So between all that kind of stuff, and then of course I'm getting getting a lot of great advice now. Pulmonary rehabilitation with what do they call it? A respiratory therapist, and they monitor all that stuff. The whole goal for me is to be able to, run around town and do things and not have to be dealing with supplemental oxygen. That's a big thing or a terrible thing. I mean, in fact, I'm sure at some point it's in my future. But if I can figure out a way not to have to deal with that for at least the near future, or maybe even into the far future a little bit, then I'm going for it. Well, and then what is it? The survival of the fittest, or the strongest, whatever that is. One point I can make on that is that I've gained 5 pounds, but not in my waistline. So it has to be in my muscles. And so the more muscle mass and the stronger your muscles get, the lesser amount of oxygen they require to function. So as I get stronger, then it's a lot easier for me to maintain blood saturation in the 90s. And so no, I'm into walking. I'm into finding my limits in all this, because that's going to be the key to longevity. So anyway, that's a long story. Sorry for that, but it's kind of fun for me to talk about it. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. G7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, I would say that is excellent news for your part. Anyway, being able to conquer what you're going through is fantastic. So you're taking charge. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Dick, yeah, I have to agree with Dave. It sounds like you're getting stronger. I was actually surprised when you said 3 miles, but it sounds like you're improving, and you have a couple of tools there to work with if you have some problems, and monitoring your saturation is good there. So it sounds like you've got a good handle on it. I know you've been doing that respiratory therapy for a while now, and it sounds like that has done, honestly, miracles. So that's great. Yeah, just be careful not to overdo it. I have 2 friends, ironically, both of whom are now dead. They had one friend had diabetes, and he was taking his blood sugar, and this one time it's testing normal, and he was at Fred Meyer and just passed out, and so they called 911, and they got him, and they saw his blood sugar was like 700 something, or some ridiculous number, and they found that the test strips for his device were defective, and so they were showing normal when his blood sugar was nowhere close to normal. So I don't know, problems like that arise, and I have another friend, actually a couple of friends, who were on oxygen for quite some time. They had a little device, a mechanical device, which supposedly compressed oxygen out of the atmosphere and fed it to them through a cannula. Yeah, it would be good to avoid that if you can. avoid that as long as you can. But be careful. I don't know. And gaining weight, well, I know you said it's not going to your waist. When my wife gains weight, it goes to her butt. I don't know. I'm just saying. No, I'm sure you're gaining muscle. I'm sure you're doing very well. You're a whole lot more active now than you've been. So that's great. Congratulations on that. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, let's go to Bellevue to James, WU7N.
Dave, well, I've got a reprieve there, so I'm into the end here. So let me say thank you to everyone for participating tonight in the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. This is James, WU7N. I'm calling it a night here with 2 minutes to go. WU7N.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Well, I think I'll end the net a little bit short, a couple of minutes. I'd like to thank the owners and operators of the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for our voice transmissions for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave signing off the net at 8:59. Good evening all. KJ, Somewhere Mobile listening.